That's James's pizza for today. It's the Yam-crust pizza. And then there's the mango smoothie, some cilantro juice, and some tomatoes to put on the pizza if he wants. And if you look at my numbers, this is where I started out on January the 10th, and I went do all the way down this way, and then up at the top here. And it looks like I'm making some progress, and not so much progress. So what happened here? Were these guys the fault? Were the avocados the fault? I don't think so. I think it was carbonate. And I will talk about why if we look at the ingredients there. And I'm going to be having some quail eggs, which I've never had before. So that's awesome. And there's the nutritional information there. I'm not going to have the yolks. We're going to talk about Wonder Woman a little bit, as well as these other things in the stack. And I'll show you the whole stack. So there's that's what we're talking about. So now I'm very fortunate because we went to Superstore today and quail eggs were 50 cents a package. So I got quail eggs, and these two here are broken. So I'm not going to eat them because I don't know if I broke them while I was putting them in the water or if they were broken before then. And so they're going to get wasted. But I'm going to put the shells in here. And so that'll be that. Now, the carbonate, yeah, if you looked at the numbers for the 1 bars and stuff, it's not so good. But the carbonate bread, not only like when I was eating it, I was like, oh, I'm having so much pain, like I could hardly get up. My back was hurting so much, and my fingers, my wrists, everything hurting. And then I look at this and I'm like, well, wheat protein's the second ingredient after water. So I guess wheat protein, that hurts. So, and honestly, you're probably looking at my numbers for the protein for the week, or 10, 11 days ago, and going, that's not nearly enough. And it's not. I wasn't eating nearly enough protein. I didn't want to eat the fish anymore because I don't want to eat fish. And so I did the thing that a lot of vegetarians do and just omit things without putting things back in, and I didn't have very much protein. And so I was trying to eat only like a 1 bar every second day, and then you'll see near the end I'm just like, whatever, I'm eating a 1 bar every day. And it's, my weight was not, like, I ended up, since January the 10th, I have only lost, you know, it went back and forth, but about 2 pounds. That's it. That's not very much. So anyway, the carbonate bread, you look at it and you go, well, 14 grams of protein, that's pretty good, you know, for 2 pieces of bread. But if you look at, like, I put this, I ate right across from each other. So here's the carbonate bread made into a sandwich, and I had a little bit of the cheese on it, not very much, and that added up. That's a lot of calories there. And if you look over here at this Quest protein bar just across the way, this is a far better, it has far better numbers. Only, I mean, if you think about it, go, okay, well, I did have some healthy things on my sandwich, so maybe I shouldn't think that way. And one of the things, cilantro, which is my tip of the day, cilantro. That's why James is drinking cilantro juice. Because I have been drinking cilantro juice every so often, with my ginger in the morning, because I have, I'll eat the leaves and here I'd eat it with sandwich and stuff, but I also put it in salads. And you know, that's the thing, is I can have the carbonate with some veggies, good sandwich stuff, or I can just have a salad. without the carbonate. And the carbonate's just adding calories for no good reason. And the protein is really not, I mean, it's not complete protein. So where am I getting? I'm not getting unless I was also having the Vega Sport at the same time, because that has the pea protein and the peanut, and then that would balance off the missing amino acids from the wheat protein here. But since this week, or past 10 days, I really didn't have that. I'd run out of the Vega Sport, I think on January the 14th. Yep, that was the last day. So anytime I had carbonate after that day, I wasn't getting the complete protein from it anyway. So it's useless. Absolutely useless. Unless I pick up those amino acids somewhere else, then this is not a wise thing, especially when I'm trying to keep my carb numbers low. Everything counts. Every single, I want to eat the most nutrient dense food and eat when whatever. So yeah. So I don't think it was the avocado that caused the problem. The 1 bar is not very wise, but I only have those 3 left. And I should point out, I guess, that I think there's actually use for these, because although this happy birthday one is not very good, it has lower numbers. So there's, I think it was 7 net carbs in the happy birthday one, whereas these other ones are, I think, 9. So, and there's 1 bars that are even higher than that for net carbs. You might be looking at these and go, oh, only one gram of sugar. Oh, well, that's great. I can eat 20 of these a day. No, you cannot. No. Really not even 1. If you're trying to do keto most efficiently, it's probably not the best idea to make these a part of the diet. But I got them for cheap, and I'm trying to do this diet on whatever I can get, basically on clearance or free. And which is why my numbers are so low too, which I gotta get them up. So the protein numbers. Now what was I going to say? Reason for these. So if you're on your diet and you've been keto for a while, and really these are only useful if you're keto, there's so much saturated fat in here that unless you're burning fat, I can't see this being a good idea for anybody else. But you know, people are eating chocolate bars and stuff, and that's really high. So maybe it's okay, I don't know. But I'm leaning towards no for anyone except for people who are burning fat. And maybe you've been keto a while and you're thinking, that's it, I hate this diet, I don't want to be on it anymore, it sucks. I really want to go to Tim Hortons and get a maple glazed donut. Well, here's your flavor. And this is really good. It tastes just like a maple glazed donut. So delicious. Chocolate chip cookie dough flavor, even better than chocolate chip cookie dough as far as I'm concerned. And 1 happy birthday, this is just depressing. If you're on keto during your birthday, I feel very bad for you, because if this is what you have to resort to try to make yourself feel better about missing out on birthday cake, poor you, because it's not very good. But I want to point out, I'm really thrilled about these quail eggs. I haven't tried them yet. I'm hoping they taste like normal eggs. So these little containers that they come in are going to be perfect for painting. I really look forward to this. This is like a perfect little watercolor thing. So that's going to be awesome. I'm really thrilled. So, we'll put my avocado back there. And how's your pizza today, James?
That's good.
That's good. So, Wonder Woman. We loved it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And Linda Carter. Wow. Holy smoke, she was hot. Really great Wonder Woman, but
Back
for the
cover,
look.
She looks a little thin.
Yeah, a little thin. But since she's so tall, she's basically like Barbie. She has a big chest and slender. Very tall. But maybe even prettier than Barbie. So she really has a good look for Wonder Woman. Unfortunately, she seems too feminine and amiable. So, I mean, not the kind of woman you'd think would crack a whip. Would never crack a whip. So, personality-wise, she doesn't fit. Doesn't fit at all. But still, we enjoyed watching it. And we still have another disc to watch, volume 3. So,
It was full of icons. It's not just her. They've got Lyle Wagner, who used to be the bimbo on Carol Burnett's show. She'd bring him out every so occasionally and stuff like that, which was, turnabout is fair play.
Mm-hmm.
Big, tall, handsome. And,
yeah, I mean,
not the greatest actor, but
we should point out that there's quite a lot of continuity issues. So, I don't know what
they're
they
so
were thinking.
good. They're so bad. They're
Yeah,
good,
exactly.
It's kind of a campy experience.
So you're watching out for him. You're like, that person's on the wrong side of the car. Whatever. So, Blackberry.
Thing to understand is the 70s, and this has been documented, is the decade where IQ to the 90s, so it's all of the 20th century in the United States where IQ went up the slowest, second slowest, 50s slowest, and then the 70s. This is a tragedy of the 80s and Ronald Reagan. It's those two generations or decades or whatever, ganging up on everyone else and voting chimps into power. It's not just the United States, it's Brian Mulroney in Canada.
You haven't tried the crust yet?
Yeah, it was good.
Okay, so is it better today or worse than the last time? Because you like the last time.
Maybe not quite as good, but still it's very good.
I did it differently. I put the garlic on, so I put the olive oil on the crust, and I put the garlic on, I stuck it in the oven, and then once the garlic turned a little brown, like just toasted, then I put the rest of the toppings on, and so I thought it would be better this way, but I guess not.
It's not the same.
So, Blackberry.
It's good. I'm just eating the topping because it's the fish. Right? You put fish in there?
Yeah.
So I'm finishing now.
So I didn't expect to enjoy this movie at all, but it was not bad. So, Blackberry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Canadian content, though.
Yeah.
Canadian phenomenon
whatever.
for a while until the bottom fell out.
Harry Wild Series 4. Terrible. I mean,
And you've got stuff underneath it, folks. This is
yeah.
bad sign because this is really bad.
Really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The Fergus is I'm sure he's a nice person. He seems like he would be, but he's a terrible actor. He overacts, and it's not believable that they would be hanging out together. This
Jane Seymour.
May, December sort of thing. No, but without the romance between them. And yeah, he's just bad. I hate to say they need to kill him off. They need to kill him off. He's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, the young lady, she's moving to America. Maybe he could move with her, and then we wouldn't have to see him, right?
Yeah.
That might
Great
work.
idea, yeah.
So maybe do that. But you got to get rid of him.
She's giving this idea
because he's
for free,
terrible.
folks.
He's terrible.
Yeah.
You got to get rid of him.
Oh, it's awful.
It's been going on too long.
Jane Seymour was kind of eye candy, speaking of eye candy, way back when. I think it was Live and Let Die or something like that. So 73 maybe. And she never really learned how to act. And so she's not going to bail him out, you know.
Yeah.
So it's when they're in scenes together.
Terrible.
Mm-hmm.
The Disappearance of My Mother. This is just it's very boring. I don't know that anybody would want to watch a documentary about a fashion model from the 1960s, but definitely not this one.
Well, it's following her when she's became even less interesting.
Yeah.
You know, she smoked away her looks.
Mm-hmm.
And was it you or me who started saying, just predicting when she'd tell him to get lost? Remember?
Yeah.
It was just like...
She doesn't want to do this documentary.
So it's basically
her son is
stalking
basically
her.
just stalking her around. He wants to. He's such a useless person. He can't do anything, make a name of himself for himself.
No.
So he wants to ride her coattails, but there's not much to ride. She's already long past her sell-by date. So.
They showed her vaping, but it was mainly smoking. You know, she smoked away her looks largely. She's got great hair still. It's amazing.
Yeah, she
So
does.
it showed her lecturing, I think it was prospective models or something like that. Because they're all women, they're all good looking. And she's telling them how bad modeling is. Yeah. Are they listening to her? No.
Yeah.
Because they're looking at her saying, the reason why you're calling it down is you can't do it anymore. You don't have the looks.
Yeah.
Of course, they're thinking more in terms of age, but she's prematurely aged her looks because of the smoking.
So Thrashers, this was terrible. So terrible, nobody wants to watch this. It's unwatchable. And James is going to talk a little bit about secret societies and the New World Order. He's just watched the...
First one?
I think so, yeah. I think that was a long one. Or maybe
long,
it just felt really long.
Well...
So
it's all going to be too long based on what I was seeing in that first one.
They're trying to do some computer...
Oh my God. How recent was this?
It's really bad.
It looked like stuff almost from the 90s.
Yeah.
Well,
or 80s even. It's really bad.
You know better, yeah.
So, yeah, maybe a little better than you.
Yeah.
But they say a little knowledge is a dangerous thing.
And here they go.
I
just
think
there.
that pretty much describes this. So James is going to talk about the first episode, which is Order of the Alchemists, the Knights of Malta, and Cagliostro.
Cagliostro. They were saying Cagliostro, but I think you say Cagliostro.
Okay. So there you go, James. You have 11 minutes to talk about that, and I'm going to try to see how quail eggs are.
A little knowledge is a dangerous thing.
How's your mango drink, by the way?
I haven't started.
Oh.
A little knowledge is a dangerous thing, but not nearly as dangerous as a whole lot of mis and disinformation. So it starts off. There's so many things nowadays. Start off with mistreatment of Muslims. And so it starts off with the Crusades.
I think you should talk about that that Nazi guy.
Well, here's the mis and disinformation.
Because that one was interesting when you were telling me about that.
So they just slip it in. They're trying to suggest that capitalists are allied with Masons and stuff like that against communists and Muslims. That seems to be the message that was getting pounded at you at the end. Interesting. And so they flash up the big swastika on the screen. The CIA is part of this conspiracy against communism and, according to these chips, communism and Islam. So, and the predecessor OSS was set up, according to them, to fight communism. the OSS existed until World War II. I don't think the Americans really had a spy agency, at least the federal official. What is it? Office of Strategic Services, OSS. And after World War II, pretty quickly, it was replaced by the CIA. And my suspicion is they were scared and not strictly speaking paranoid about the OSS being penetrated by commies. They set up a different organization. Now, the name they just slip in there is, I think I've got it right. They didn't flash it on the screen. When you're dealing with stuff in a foreign language, you should have stuff flashed on the screen. So they mentioned Richard, and they might have said Richard. It's spelled like Richard. Richard Galen. And you didn't even catch it, and that's not your fault, right? They're just slipping it by. Oh, and he was a documented spy for Germany. Not so much the Nazis. So the head of the German spy agency was a guy called Canaris, Admiral Canaris. Canaris. For some reason or other went to a C and not a K. It's almost like the German word for canary, except it's got an S put in at the end. I'm not sure where the accent comes. Canaris, I'm not sure. I'm going to say Canaris. What happened to him? He didn't make it to the end of the World War II because he was taken out by American agent. No. He was found to be, and probably very accurately so, found to be working for the Americans, and the British, the Allies. An example of the sort of stuff the Secret Service of the...
Well, not the German Allies.
Well, they're called the Allies. They call the German stuff Axis.
Oh,
Axis
really?
powers and the Allied powers. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'm using technical sort of stuff. So, yeah. Stuff you learn. One guy who taught me linguistics, Blackfoot, and... Oh, he's a linguist. He taught me Blackfoot grammar and Cree grammar.
So,
He said to me, I learn something from you all the time.
But
every time I talk.
Is that if you were across the water and in German kind of territory, would they still call it that?
They called it the Axis powers.
Wow. Okay.
Allied, that's a alliance. That's French. It probably come. I can't think of the Latin right now, but allegiance comes from that, I suspect, right? It's almost so it'd be AD and then
there's my friend
legation, tying together. So it comes from the Latin. The axis is kind of like in the middle, and axis is an axa is an axis or something like that.
They taste exactly
or an
the same.
axle, as I think an axle as well in German. So axa. Anyway. Galen, yes, the CIA, the Americans worked with him after World War II, but he, I suspect, like Canaris, was an agent for the Allies. Now, an example of what they were doing, the German Secret Service, is they kept on saying to Hitler and his underlings, including Rommel, that the Americans were going to take the shortest route, Americans and the Brits and Canadians too, probably New Zealanders and Australians as well, but those are the three main invading countries. They were saying they're going to take the shortest route, which would be through something like Dieppe, across the Channel, La Manche as the French call it, and they kept on saying it. Even after D-Day, when was that? I remember it like yesterday. No, I'm not that old. When was it? 22nd of June or something like that, 1944. Probably a little bit earlier than that. But maybe somewhere around there. They kept on saying to Hitler, "This is just and his underlings like a Rommel. They're saying this is just a feint. It's only part one of a larger sort of thing that's going to come through Dieppe, Calais, something like that. A much shorter route. The Allies didn't go main route. They took a much longer route to get to Normandy and stuff like that when they invaded on D-Day. And Hitler apparently was thinking they were going to come through Cherbourg, off in the west, and he kept on being dissuaded by his intelligence agencies. So even after the Allies invaded successfully up to a point, Rommel was having to hold back reserves in case they had more guys coming in through places like Dieppe and Calais, so on and so forth, farther to the east. And when you do an invasion like that, D-Day, you've got guys exposed on the beach, so they're not being exposed to the full firepower that Rommel could have brought in if he, hadn't been, if he'd been following Hitler's plans. And Hitler was a crazy guy, but he got this one right. I mean, there's only so many places the Allies could have come from. He could have just been pounding them on the beaches. As it turns out, there were 5 beaches invaded by the Allies, and on only one where they met with stiff resistance. It was kind of like a killing ground. The other ones, it was pretty brutal, I suppose, but things went smoothly. So, but the main thing is, when you've got something like that, is you try to stop the thing on the beach, and you bring in reinforcements behind. You got reinforcements, like here's, you don't know where they're coming, here or here, and you got reinforcements here in case they come, a place where you don't expect it. Then you bring the reinforcements in. So that's what they were doing, and I suspect Galen was involved in that sort of stuff. So, yeah, they just slip it by you. Yeah, Richard Galen, he was, he's a Nazi secret service kind of guy. Worked for the spy agency, and then he was working with CIA. They're like this, the Nazis. Yeah, and of course, they're sloughing by saying, "No, I haven't had time to check it out. Going to have plenty of time watching the rest of the crap." Are there 8 more things here?
So much.
6 more, and I'm checking it out. I think the Nazis were wiping out members of the Freemasons. I think those were people who were anti-socialist, pro-capitalist, all that sort of stuff. Understand the Nazis were socialists. When they had in their name 4 different elements, 2 of them were German and nationalists, the others were socialist and workers' party, right? They're left-wing. They're not, they hated capitalists. Now, you'll get people say, "Oh, wow, the capitalists helped put them in power." Two main capitalists, Krupp and Thyssen. Thyssen is doing elevators now. I don't know if they do armaments anymore. They were armaments manufacturers. Of course they wanted Hitler in power. They knew they'd make a killing in more ways than one. Ultimately, they ended up making a huge killing of Germans. It was